right, so listen, client onboarding is a vital process in nurturing your relationship with clients, especially if you plan on doing live video production, which is why I'm so excited because in this episode, we're talking about client onboarding. And here's the thing, most clients in 2021 don't know what they want or what they need when it comes to producing an online virtual event. That's where you come in and that's where you are going to shine. Because today in this episode of Showrunner Secrets from the Set, we're talking about how you could go ahead and win that confidence with your client by giving them the best client onboarding experience. So if you're here, go ahead and let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm here in beautiful, sunny San Diego. So, Lauren Joyce is saying, no, they don't know. That's right. Clients don't know what they don't know. And because you know how to use Ecamm, you know how to use a virtual cam, and all the amazing things that it's capable of, this is your opportunity to inspire them with what you can do. So having said that, let's go ahead and get started.
Cause it's finally, yeah, finally, yeah, oh, cause it's finally, yeah, finally, yeah, ooh.
All right, friends, welcome to another episode of Showrunner Secrets from the Set, Ecamm fam. I am Stephanie Liu, and this show is all about teaching you the wonderful ways to have a successful live broadcast. For those of you that are just thinking about, man, I really want to get into remote live video production, this is the episode for you because now we are talking about the actual onboarding experience. And before we get started, I want to give a shout out to those that are here live in the audience tuning in for episode number 2. Let's go ahead and give it up. Felicia, she's here. Oh, wait. Oh, Doc, you're here too.
How you like that?
Got that from Doc. So yes, so wonderful to have you here. You guys are blowing up the comments. I'm actually really quite excited about that. Having said that, I also want to give a shout out to the crew that watched the very first episode of Showrunner Secrets from the Set because we announced the winners. Listen. If you had entered the giveaway to earn Restream Professional Pro, right, for an annual subscription plus an all access pass to Unite 2021, you already have an email from me. I'm waiting for you to reach back. Come on, let's hook you up. So having said that, let's go ahead and give a shout out to the winners. But first, shout out to my girl, Rocky Nashville. So good to see you. Hope you're doing wonderful and well, right? Yes. Okay, so let's go ahead and give a shout out to the winners. Bum. So the winner of the Restream Pro plus Unite 2021 was Shawnette. So Shawnette, you have an email from me. I emailed you saying, hey, you won Restream Pro annual subscription plus an all access pass to Unite 2021, which PS, by the way, that conference starts next week. So I need you to email me back, okay? Then let's go on to our other winners. So our other winners is Anthony Samu. I've heard back from you. Michael Savage, I've heard back from you. Ron Luberson and Olu. All 4 of you have already reached an email from me. So super duper happy for all of you. Congratulations. See what happens when you show up? You win things. So having said that, let's go ahead and give a shout out for what we had talked about last week. So when we kicked off the very first episode of Showrunner Secrets from the Set, we had talked about the evolution of live streaming and the rise of the remote live producer. Because here's the thing, if you've been thinking about this, right, and you're like, man, I don't know which industries, what areas I should get into, go to that very first episode because we talked about all the things. We talked about doing remote live video production for weddings, ceremonies, graduations, shareholder meetings. That's my favorite right there, the shareholder meetings. Because here's the thing, that's where you know the key decision makers are. Right? And when you impress one shareholder, you're going to impress the rest of the shareholders. And that's an opportunity for you to create recurring revenue. I'm telling you, that first episode, that was fly. That was hot. So you definitely want to go ahead and go back to that. Now, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about client onboarding. Client onboarding and what your experience is like. So while you're here, if you're already doing remote live video production, I would love to know, what is your client onboarding experience? What do you do for your clients? How do you separate yourself from the sea of sameness? For me, the first thing that I do this. Step number 1, how do you impress your clients? You bust out your gear, right? You let them know that you're a part of the Ecamm fam. That's what you do. Yeah. All right. Oh, Bradley Minton, he is trying to hold on to this internet connection because of the snowstorm. Aw, fam. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. All right. Everyone that is cold with the snowstorm, I'm wearing my Ecamm hoodie in spirit of all of you. Because in San Diego, we have a foot of sun here in San Diego. It's crazy. It's crazy. All right. Okay. So today we're talking about live video producer, the client onboarding experience. I would love to know what you do to get a client on board. Next week, we're going to get into the good stuff. We're going to be talking about structure and storyboards. And yes, you will be getting templates. So don't even worry about that. This is why you are tuning in to Showrunner Secrets from the Set. All right. Oh, Doc does not have one of these. Doc, are you kidding me? You need to get one of these. Caleb, go ahead and send that out there. Please send him a potato as well from #SpudRunner. He would absolutely love that. Here's the thing. If you don't already have these dates on your calendar, please go ahead and put them up on there. This is where you could go ahead and add it. Go to lightscamera.live/add. This will add all of the calendar invites, so that way you won't miss an episode. So having said that, that's going to be March. Let's go ahead and talk about what's going to be happening in March and April. So then in March and April, we're going to then talk about planning and production. You know, when you have that client that says, oh, we don't need a tech rehearsal. You need a tech rehearsal. So we're going to talk about all the ways that you could overcome those objections. This is an opportunity for you to say like, well, what if my client wants to have a handheld mic or blah, 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 blah. We're going to talk about that during the planning and the production phase of this. It's going to be super important, right? Then April 7th, which all of you have been asking, Steph, how do you price your services? How do you separate yourself from the sea of sameness? That's going to be the very, very last episode, because the way that this series is set up is to really set you apart from everyone, right? So know what it is that you have to know about Ecamm, know all the features, the functionalities, the client onboarding experience, which again, we're going to be talking about today. All right. Yeah, see, Noah, he likes the Ecamm hoodie too. Yeah, it's actually really slick, especially like when you're like going on set. You're just like, it's about to go down. That's what you do when you're about to start a show. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Shout out to everyone that is here, the YouTube folks. So happy to see you. Alrighty, so we are gonna go on. Again, if you haven't already taken out your notebooks, your notepads, whatever it is, your Google Docs, now is the time to do it, because we are about to jump into all of this amazing and wonderful stuff. So having said that, let's go ahead and push this over, and we are going to go ahead and jump right into the very first thing. Boop. All right. So what I'm showing you, I'm showing you what I actually do, which not that many people get to see behind the curtain. This is your opportunity to, if you want to swipe the file, you can swipe the file, right? Take what you want, edit what you need, and we'll really go from there. Caleb says he has his Showrunner blue notebook. He has a blue notebook. Oh my God, you guys. I love that. All right, let's go ahead and start. Let's start filling page number 1. Actually, let me go ahead and pause real quick. I'm going to give you a hot second to get your notebooks, because something just popped in my ear. All right, so let's talk about when you are talking to a client. Most people, when you are going to be talking to a client, you're going to first have your discovery call. And during that discovery call, you want to figure out what exactly your client wants when it comes to remote live video production, right? And like I said before, most clients don't really know what it is that they want. And that could be really quite troublesome because they might have seen like a shady production and that's what they want. And you're like, no, I use Ecamm. Let me show you all the awesome and amazing things that I can do, right? But first, definitely have that discovery call. Figure out what it is your client wants to do, right? What's the look and feel? How many people do they want to have during that actual event? Is it going to be on site? Are they going to have an MC? All the things. That's definitely going to be super helpful. So having said that, let's go ahead and move on now that I have my extra headphones here. All right, so moving right along. Usually when I'm working with clients, I present to them like, hey, let me tell you a little bit about myself. So when I send this over to them, here's a little bit about me. You could do the same thing for your media kit as well, or your pricing, your packaging, your services. Let them know that you know your stuff. How many events have you actually done? What industry are you at the top of, right? Which industry are you like, I'm all about weddings, I'm all about live shopping, which PS, by the way, that last episode that I did all about live shopping, that was absolutely amazing. You need to watch that. So go ahead and let them know a little bit about you, what software you use, how long you've been doing this in the industry, if you're new, if you do this for nonprofits. I think that's going to be really, really helpful when you're talking to a client during the actual onboarding experience. So in here, I put like a little bit of a bio because here's the thing. I know that when I am working with someone, I know that the person that I am talking to on the phone, right? The person that I am talking to on the phone is most likely going to be sharing that PDF of my services to someone else. Because most likely the event organizer that is reaching you responds or reports to someone else, like the board of directors or to their CMO. Usually they're just kind of putting feelers out there. And so you can't always trust the telephone game, right? You can't always trust that people are going to communicate the way that you communicate about how awesome and amazing that you are. And so when you have a PDF of your services, of what it is that you can do, that's always going to be helpful. Dude, this is Bridget. She says, I've been to your live workshop at MDMC. I just wanted to let you know as a live... Okay, hold up. Oh my gosh. I got distracted for a second, but I actually did a remote live video production training at the Midwest Digital Marketing Conference, and I walked them through this whole entire process. So, Bridget, this is going to be very familiar to you. And she walked away, and she is now a remote live producer doing these events. So I am super excited. Thank you so much for telling me. It's always helpful when I hear this from folks. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and go back over here. Tell them a little bit about what it is that you do. If you have been published anywhere, PS, by the way, I know that Ecamm is always looking for really great content, amazing case studies on how you're using Ecamm Live. So this is your opportunity to go ahead and write a blog post. You're welcome, Caleb. You're welcome. Ooh, Kevin Lyons. Kevin Lyons is in the house. Absolutely love him. He always just... bring it back. Kevin is saying a media kit with a short bio as well as images of your whole setup. That is going to be a game changer, okay? All right, then let's talk about your approach. Let's talk about your approach. Now, I've actually mentioned this before to a couple of folks, and I've always said that the difference between me and other remote live video producers out there is that my background is in marketing. So I'm a social media strategist. I wrote a book on social media strategy, right? And so when I'm talking with clients, I let them know how I'm different from the sea of sameness. I'm like, my background is in social media. I could do paid media advertising. This is what I do. And so when I'm working with a client, I want to show them my approach. Okay, so what's your approach when it comes to actually doing your events? Now hold up, let me just switch gears real quick because my daughter was playing with my headphones, and of course, we all parents know how that is like. So what is your approach when it comes to remote live video production? The reason why I pose that question is because some people only do the live streaming, while there are others who know everything about live streaming or designing the actual graphics. Shout out to Bradley Vinson, right? There are some there who also know about website hosting and all the different things. This is an amazing opportunity for you to let the event organizer know what makes you different from everyone else. So what's your approach? Now, when I talk to my clients, I tell them that we usually work in 3 phases. So there's pre-production, there's production, and there's post-production. During the pre-production phase, the most important thing that happens for my clients and I is to make sure that we actually have a creative brief. How many of you, show of hands, actually use a creative brief? I do. I come from an agency background, and it's important for me to understand, what is this event? What's the messaging? What's the purpose? What's the ambiance? What's the energy? What's the feel that you want to have for this event? And so having a creative brief is always helpful. It's always essential. Yes, shout out to Bradley Teaches, because he knows how to separate himself from everyone else that's out there when it comes to remote live video production. All right, cool. Then we also have a script and a storyboard. A script and a storyboard, we outline this in the pre-production phase. This means on the day of the event, the client is not reaching out to me like, oh, can you slide this 15-second commercial in there? I'm like, friend, my stream deck is already set up. No, I'm just kidding. Right? So you want to have your creative brief, your script, and your storyboard. All of this will go into detail because, like I said, if you have your notebooks, this is where you're going to write it down. Okay? And then basic media graphics. Are you going to do the media graphics, or do they have a creative team that's going to design it for you? If they don't have anyone to do that, if you know how to do that, awesome. If you don't know, then shout out to Bradley Vincent, because he has a ton of tutorials on how you can make some amazing graphics, right? Amazing graphics just by using Keynote. Let me tell you, game changer. Then during the pre-production phase, we always have a tech rehearsal. This is kind of like, let me show you why it's important to have an Ethernet cable. Might as well have that conversation at the very beginning. This is usually when I'm having a conversation with the event organizer and they're saying, well, our VP, he says that whenever he's on Zoom, he has the best internet. This is completely different when you are doing a remote live stream, right? Write this down. Okay, so that usually happens during pre-production. And then production, that's the on-air camera. Are you doing the scene switching? Let them know. Do you have a second live producer that's going to be helping you? Do you have a back channel? Where is the conversation going to be happening, right? I know for my crew and I, we've actually used WhatsApp. That's where we say things like, did she really just turn herself into a potato? Anyways, that's what you're going to do during the production. On-air media graphics, Skype or remote speaker integration. PS, by the way, for those of you who don't know yet, there is a built-in guest interview feature in Ecamm, right? So make sure you get on that because it's such an amazing experience. Then we go into post-production. Post-production is an opportunity for you to still build rapport and have that relationship with your clients after the event ends, because knowing you, your event was amazing. And in their head, they're already thinking, how can I work with you again? Go back to episode number 1. Go back to episode number 1. It says, hey, if you really liked this event, these are all the different ways that we can help you. Other things to know about post-production is that maybe they don't have a stellar, awesome, amazing social media team. That's going to be your opportunity to say like, hey, we can even clean up the live stream, give you a final file that you could repurpose across social media. You could turn it into an Instagram story, LinkedIn story, whatever the case may be. We do it all around, right? So that is going to be, that's going to be so important. Shout out to Caleb who's saying, sell those social media clips. You might as well, right? You might as well. Because Ecamm, as we already know, is going to record that file for you. That's an opportunity for you to upsell, right? Put that into your packages and your services. Ooh, shout out to Kevin. He's saying, I've considered gift wrapping a 20-foot Ethernet cable and sending it to each person who will be on camera. That's another way for you to stay top of mind and tip of tongue. Kevin, what I've actually done for my clients is I've actually sent them a Logitech Brio 4K when it was really easy to get one of them. Plus, I got them an external mic. Let me tell you, ever since March of last year when we went into lockdown, every time they use it, boom, who do they think of? They think of me. They think of Ecamm, right? So that's what we do. All right. So that is a high level overview of the client onboarding process. I'm still talking about the actual PDF. Oh my goodness. I hope that we actually keep this within the hour because last time I had so much fun with all of you. All right. Here's everything else that I also tell with clients what Lights Camera Live does. We talk about the social integration. So coming from a marketing background, we talk about like, hey, if we're going to do this live stream, here's an opportunity for us to provide you with analytics to let you know how your actual live stream performed. Where did you get the most engagement? Now, if you use Restream with Ecamm Live, Restream gives you these powerful analytics to let you know which of those channels actually drove the most viewership. Not only that though, but which of those viewers was actually driving majority of the conversations. That's going to be really important. This is also very helpful because listen to this, if your event organizer has sponsors that are sponsoring the actual event, it's very helpful for them to turn back around and say, thank you so much for sponsoring our event. These are the results. This is how many people showed up. This is what people thought about your presentation, so on and so forth. Again, I'm telling you, this is how you separate yourself from the sea of sameness. The other part then is the creative. So generally for Lights Camera Live, we help our clients with creative. We say like, hey, you know what? A part of our pre-promotion strategy is that we create a Facebook event. We do Instagram stories. We do all the things, even down to chat marketing to get people to RSVP via Facebook Messenger. So I'm not saying you have to do all of this. I'm just saying, think about all the different skills that you have at your disposal, or because you're so active in the Ecamm community, are there people that you can leverage and hire to be a part of your virtual team for this remote live video production, right? Shout out to Melanie who's saying such great information. I know, right? Yes, we are learning a lot today. Okay. So again, also when I talk to clients, I let them know that my background is also in paid media. So if they wanted to live stream, let's say into a Facebook event, which PS, by the way, you totally can, you can even put some paid media budget behind that Facebook event. So if they wanted to get more people to RSVP to the event, they absolutely can. So that's going to be your opportunity to do that as well. Then you could talk about earned media versus owned. If you don't know any of this stuff, that's okay. I'm just telling you what makes Lights Camera Live different, okay? Because when I enter into the conversation, it's more than just, here's your run of show, here's some technical stuff. I'm talking about Lights Camera Live comes in and we say, like, we take care of you from beginning to end. We're your CMO, we're your CTO, the whole entire way through for this virtual event, right? Shout out to Kevin Lyons who's saying, upsell, provide success proving infographic. Sheets, PDFs for each of your client supporters. Yes! Kevin, I love it when you're here. It's so amazing. And then SEO. If you're doing any content strategy stuff, that's an opportunity for you as well. Then, for all my social media folks, remember the post-production phase that I was talking about? This is our social media distribution strategy. You already put together an amazing virtual event. Let them know that you have this opportunity by taking that HD recording and turning it into case studies, long form articles, whatever the case may be. You could turn it into social media content, into your Facebook post, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever the case may be. Maybe even some YouTube shorts if that's your thing, right? But when an event organizer knows like, wow, Kevin's going to take care of me from beginning to end. This is why I choose him. Right? This is why I want to work with that remote live video producer because they have all of this in store. Again, remember when you're having this discovery call with the event organizer, more often than not, they are reporting to somebody else. And so when you have something like this PDF that outlines all of the amazing, wonderful things that you can do, it becomes distributable, which means that you could easily attach it to an email. It could get forwarded to someone else. It could get forwarded over to sponsors to say, and sponsor, you get all these clips that you could then add to your social media channels as well, right? Felicia says, oh, screenshot that graphic. I know, right? Hold up. Let me bring it back. Distribution strategy. This is a game changer. As a social media marketer, this is a part of our content strategy. We tell our clients, when you work with us to do a social media strategy, it's a video first strategy. You're going to create this pillar content. We're then going to use Descript to turn that into a long form blog article, ebook, whatever the case may be, maybe even like a series of emails. That's going to be amazing. So take a screenshot of this, right? As Felicia said, this is going to be an opportunity for you. And shout out to the Ecamm fam who's saying, when you deliver a product that goes beyond the event, it shows that you care about their event as much as they do. Okay? We're talking about how you can stay top of mind and tip of tongue, because when you knock this out of the park, they're going to recommend you. And P.S. by the way, you should totally be asking for testimonials when you are doing these events. So this is something that's included in our PDF of services. Then I let them know our team is going to help you. Again, I could put this in bullet points. I let them know explicitly, this is how we're going to help you from beginning to end, right? You officially have my brain on speed dial, right? It's not just like, oh, can I only talk to you on the day of? No. You and I are going to be like BFFs for like how many weeks leading up to your actual event, right? So let them know how your team, how you are going to help them. That's going to be an amazing opportunity. Great. So then let's talk about our services. Depending on what your discovery call is about, maybe you want to list out all of your services, or maybe just that one service that makes sense for whatever event they're trying to put on right now, right? So our services for Lights Camera Live, we do premium live video producer, basic, and live video consulting. That's pretty much it. It's like, first one, we go all out, right? It's the creme de la creme. That's what we're going to do. Or it's going to be something that's basic, something that's going to be really simple. Or if you want to give it a try, which you obviously can, you're more than welcome to, I can also consult you along the way. Those are three packages that we offer. Then you're going to go ahead and say, what are the details? What's included? Are there any additional fees? So the details, whenever we're doing events, depending on what the conversation is going to be, we're starting at whatever price point. Because I want to weed out. I'm like, hey, if you don't have the budget, then you don't have the budget, but I have all these other people that I can refer you to, right? So depending on what your price point is going to be, starting at blah, 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 this is what we're going to offer, okay? What's included? So what's important to me when I'm talking to clients for what's included is that I say things like 7 hours of pre-production with your dedicated live video producer. We could also do things where we could bring in presentations, we could bring in sound effects. You want to bring in how many additional speakers, it's all in here. Then you could also talk about like, are you live streaming to multiple destinations, channel, domain, network, CDN? Something that I also include for us, again, you want to add in something that makes you different from everyone else. At Lights Camera Live, we also include the Fascination Fast Track Marketing, which means because I already know how to pre-promote an event from beginning, middle, and end, they already have the templates. Think about that. Oh, you're planning your very first virtual event? Let me show you. I already have like virtual event in a box. It's called the Fascination Fast Track. Do you want that? You get that when you sign up for this level of service. Does that make sense? Cool. P.S. by the way, I will get to your questions. I'll most likely ask for your questions towards the end because now we're in the middle of it. Now we're in the middle of it.
Fatality.
It's game over and now we're in the middle of it. Those of you that are taking screenshots, this is it. It's going to be amazing. All right. So let them know what's included. Price out your time. Price out your time and start thinking about what's included. Then you're going to have your additional fees. So additional fees could be something like, if you were to take care of the graphics for them, how much would that cost? And if you don't know how to do it, then reach out to Bradley Vincent or all the other people. Or Elicio. Elicio actually put together like this graphic here. See how it's animated? You could shout out to him. He could hook you up in that case, right? Make connections with people in the Ecamm Live community because they can help you out, right? They can help you out. Yes. Thank you, Mike Alton. Look at that. See?
Fatality.
This is why we're friends. Oh, shout out to Kevin. Smart. Kevin, who does big events, he's saying, include in your contract use of screenshots, clips for your portfolio. Yes, we didn't even get into that yet. That's a good one. That's a good one. I actually have a lawyer that looks into all of that stuff. So if you don't have a lawyer, now would be a good time to do that. If you need a referral, just hit me up, slide into the DMs, and I'll send that over to you. All right, cool. So additional fees. If you don't know how to do the graphics, that's fine. There are resources and relationships. That's why you want to be a part of the Ecamm Live community, because you're going to find some very talented folks in there. Okay? On-air graphics. Maybe you might even have someone where they're just like, oh, can you create like a slideshow for me? Why, yes, I can. Get a creative brief, put that together, put it into the run of show, right? Patrick is saying, will this presentation stay online after? Yes, it will. It'll always be available on the replay. So whatever channel that you're working on right now, as soon as this episode ends, boom, it's available for replay. All right, so that is Premium Live Producer. And then Basic Live Producer, pretty straightforward. This is when you take away things that were in your premium service, right? So what's the price point? You're gonna like, if you went from 7 hours to 5 hours or whatever it's going to be. Notice how I use a bit of psychology in this. It's called price anchoring. Because for me, if we're going to start off like at the very top, this is everything that you're going to get. You're going to get dedicated live video producer, on-air graphics. You're going to get this, and this, plus the fascination fast track, right? That's money. And then you go into basic. And then you're taking things away from a psychological perspective. When you're price anchoring, you're like, this is everything that you're going to get. But as soon as you slide over to a lower price point, these are all the things you don't get. That's what they're going to remember. So that's a helpful strategy. Okay. All right. So basic live video producer, same thing. Details, what's included, additional fees. Boom. Then we go into live video consulting, because you may have someone that they just don't have the budget, and that's completely okay. You could say, well, I could still coach you along the way. I could tell you about what gear you need to produce. If you want to get started with Ecamm Live, let me go ahead and show you how to get underneath the hood and get started with that. That's another opportunity for you as well. What I will tell you is that for those clients that actually do take you up on this option, more often than not, I would probably say 8 out of 10, they realize, oh crap, I'm in over my head. Can we just go back over to the premium? That's going to be really helpful. Shout out to Ecamm, who is saying, if you aren't part of the Ecamm Live community, that's where you want to be. Okay? So go ahead and be a part of that community. Do it. It's going to be amazing. All right. Here's another thing. Some of these live streaming platforms, they have these built-in graphics. And more often than not, your clients, that might have been what they have seen, right? They're like, oh, well, we could just type it in and then it looks like this. But you're like, but we can make it look better. So this is your opportunity to, again, to kind of like showcase, what kind of broadcasting graphics can you offer them? And so I give them like a quick peek. We could do a countdown timer. If you haven't bought like the countdown timer from Live Streaming Pros with Loria, that's an opportunity for you. So we could say we could do a countdown timer. You could do a talking head. You could do a presentation like this. This right here is a presentation, okay? You could do an interview. You could have a panel, how many speakers they want to have. You want to help them visualize what they can do with a remote live video production with you at the helm, okay? Because they don't know what they don't know. This is your opportunity to show all the amazing and cool things that you could do with Ecamm, because why not?
How you like that?
You might as well. You might as well, because Ecamm has like all these amazing things that you can do, okay? Always learning from you, Team Lou. Yay, I don't know why your name didn't pop up. Okay. Rich Graham is asking, do you have contract templates available, or at least checklists of what to include in a contract? Kevin Lyons, if you're still tuning in, if you want to share that, that's up to you. I would also say, Rich, if you're not already in the Ecamm Live community, post that question there. Caleb, that might actually be something that we want to put in the Swipe Vault for us. That would be fun. Kevin Line says, don't be afraid to share all your secrets at the consulting level. Most of the time, clients will pay you to not have to do it themselves. That's true. That is. Once they realize what it is that they don't know, they have to ask themselves, am I willing to have sleepless nights and lose all of my weekends in order to try and figure this out? Most likely no. So they will most likely hire you. So broadcast graphics, that's going to be an amazing opportunity. Then let them know the brands that you've actually worked with. So for us, I usually do it by client specific. So in this particular example, it was for a number of conferences. So I threw in like big names that they would be familiar with. It was also very local. And so I would throw out the names out there. If you're doing live stream shopping, make it make sense. You know, pull those graphics any which way that you want. Kevin had mentioned earlier as well, in your contract for usage, have clips, do all the different things that you can possibly do. Then I give them an opportunity to ask questions. So at the get-go, I'm like, here are some frequently asked questions. I know this is teeny tiny right now, you won't be able to see it, but I say, here's some frequently asked questions based off of all of the events that I've already done. Notice that even when I say that, I say, based off of all of the events that we've done for the last 5 years, here are the most frequently asked questions. Notice that I mentioned the time frame or how many events that I've done to show them this isn't my first rodeo. I've done this before. Here are some commonly asked questions that we know how to answer and know how to problem solve, so that way you don't have to troubleshoot on the fly. So give them some frequently asked questions, things that they don't know. Remember when we were talking about, I don't know if it was in the previous episode, but I know I've talked about this with Luria on Go Live Now. But we would say when you're creating content, always write down the top 10 frequently asked questions about your business, your product, or your service. And then write down the top 10 should ask questions that clients should be asking, but they don't know because they're not the expert. You are. That, honestly, boom, that's going to be your FAQs right there. And if you already created content, if you have a live stream show that are answering all of those questions, then you have an opportunity to respond to every different learning style. Those that want to read about it, those that want to watch it, or those that want to have the kinesthetic where they want a PDF or a checklist. So for Rich that asked earlier, do you have a checklist? Probably a kinesthetic learner. So the more that you have that handy, that's going to be amazing. Then email for more details, how they're going to contact you. Again, this is going to be an amazing opportunity because you never know who is going to get that slide deck and it's going to be sent to someone else. Now, if you have any questions, go ahead and post them in the comments. If you guys are finding this super helpful, please, by all means, go ahead and let me know. I'm going to give you a quick reminder. Again, if you haven't already, make sure that you have these events on your calendar. lightscamera.live/ad, and that will get all of the events on there. So next week, we're going to be talking about structure and storyboards. More good stuff for you. And then right after that, let me go ahead and pull this back. Right after that, March and April, we'll be talking about planning and production, and then sealing the deal, pricing and services. So if you've loved the information so far today, trust me, you're going to love the next upcoming episode. Roar! I should have a roaring sound effect. Can someone send that to me? Caleb, can we write that down? Caleb, write that down. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and pull this back. And then let's go ahead and move on to the next presentation that I have for you. Okay, so we talked a little bit about visual branding elements, how super helpful that's going to be. This is also going to be very helpful when you put this in the storyboard, which we're going to talk about next week. I'm going to tease that out because Caleb, Katie, and the whole crew, they did something amazing this morning, so you should absolutely know this. All right, so when we talked about pre-production, this is for those of you that just jumped in. You're like, what is she talking about? We're talking about the actual client onboarding process. What I just showed you from the very beginning was, oh, you want to hop on a call? Boom, let me show you what it is that I do, right? I had that already ready. For those of you that are just starting out, this is going to be very helpful for you. So during pre-production, as I mentioned before, that's where you're going to brainstorm. Ask the client, what kind of event do you see yourself having? What do you want to accomplish? What's the ambiance? What's the feel? All of those questions that I just asked right now, put that in a checklist. These are the questions that you're going to ask your client. You know, what's the goal of your event? What are your expectations? What are your fears? What do you not want to happen, right? I love to ask that client, what do you not want to happen? And usually they will say like, I don't want like choppy video. I don't want the audio to be out of sync. And then that's like, then you want to get an Ethernet cable. Then you want to get, then you want to get an external mic. Then you want to have a tech rehearsal, right? These are things that are going to be super helpful to have, right? Whether you're doing these remote live video production on Facebook or like my good friend, Mary Fame Brandt, she actually does remote live video production on LinkedIn Live, because not that many people have LinkedIn Live access. She does. So she is a top performing LinkedIn Live producer. See what I'm telling you? Knowing how to brand yourself, knowing how to market yourself, that's going to be amazing. All right. So Pam Elliott is asking, what times is the show? The show is at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time, and it's every other Wednesday, so every other week, which is why I'm just kind of like, just go to lightscamera.live/ad. It's over there on the bottom right-hand corner. Add it to your calendar, okay? All right, cool. Ooh, here's another one. So it's going to be run of show. Run of show. Run of show is a document that lays out the timing, the program, and the content for each moment of the event. We're going to go into this into detail, I think, next week. But usually your client may have like kind of like a fuzzy idea of what it is exactly that they want. Because you are the remote live producer, you know that the audience attention span is going to be very, very different from an on-site event. So I'm like, how do I say this nicely? You also have to let them know if their speakers don't have the energy to keep people entertained for however long their event is going to be, right? So Amzi is saying the run of show is like the Holy Grail. Yes, it absolutely is. It's the Holy Grail. Don't skip out on that. Put together a run of show. Because then you're going to be like, oh, do we need an overlay for that? Do we need a lower third graphic for that? Is there like an entrance song that someone needs to have played when they're about to like hit the mic, right? How many people do I need to do tech rehearsals for? So having that all together is going to be really helpful. Again, we're going to have more of this for you next week when we start talking about structure and storyboards. I'm giving you a high level overview, and my daughter is going crazy right now, but that's okay. All right, so let me go back. Oh, that was 5. Boom, over here. Okay, so the run of show is going to be very, very helpful. Create your own template. I actually have my own video script maker. Video script maker is a wonderful way where I could plug in like intros, hooks, and teasers. Because sometimes when your client is scripting this out, they're like, what's the best transition? If you can help them out with that, that's going to be amazing, because a copywriter that writes copy for a sales page on a website is very, very different from writing copy for an actual remote live video production. How do you keep people engaged from beginning, middle, and end, right? Pam Elliott is saying, do you have a specific software to create the run of show? Love creating schedules. Shout out to Doc Rock, who is also sharing the love. I might as well just share this with you. I'm just going to put it in here. Oops. Typity type. Lights, camera.live forward slash script. Script. All right. Boom. So this is something that I actually created a long time ago, and it's called the Video Script Maker. So Pam Elliott, you actually might find this very helpful. But what it does is that it actually pulls in what you want the intro, the hook, the teaser, all of that to be in there, so that way you can actually stay organized. So Video Script Maker, you could just type in Google Video Script Maker and boom, it'll pop up. If you can't find it, then just let me know and I'll drop that for you, okay? All right, so having a rhythm show is going to be absolutely essential. Do not move forward without this, okay? Make sure that you get this ahead of time so that way you know which graphics you need, like how many tech rehearsals that you need to do as well. Forward slash. Thank you. Doc, you know what? Crack me up. You crack me up. All right. Another way that you could have a run of show, it doesn't have to be fancy in an Excel spreadsheet. Just put it in a Google Doc. I've done this for a Google Doc with clients too. at the very top, I like to have everyone's phone numbers. Like, hey, emergency, call me. How to hit me up on WhatsApp, whatever it is that we have to do. If you have the interview link, add it on in there. But we always have like this, like, it's kind of like Lord of the Rings, one doc to rule them all. One doc to rule them all. Sorry, doc. Anyway, so run of show is going to be very helpful. However, which way you want to use it to actually produce it, that's your call. I actually use Showflow. I'm dropping names now for you. I use something that's called Showflow. Let me pull that up. Let me see if I can share this with you. One doc to rule them all. Okay. Oh, wait. No, let's not do that. Move me back over here. Okay. I use something called Showflow. This is like overkill, but I like Showflow because it gives me the opportunity where I could create a run of show. I could plan the rundown. I could put the actual script in there, turn it into teleprompter view when I want to. It also takes in live edits. And then anytime we add something new into the run of show, it pushes out the time. So I find this to be very, very helpful. So up to you on how fancy you want to get when it comes to actually creating your run of show. I've done a spreadsheet, I've done a Google Doc, I've done Showflow itself. Depends on, your client. Like I said, if it's a visual client, I'm going to show them like a storyboard, which is basically like pictures and whatnot. And then for those that like want the minute details, minute to minute, what exactly is going to be happening, that's going to be very helpful to have, right? Then you have your tech rehearsals. You cannot skip out on this. Tech rehearsals are absolutely essential. If you do not have, if you don't have a tech rehearsal and they're having like C-level executives be a part of it,
Fatality.
I mean, game over. There's not much you could really do. So if I were you, if you're investing all of this time from discovery call to pre-planning, production, and post-production, make sure you have all of that stuff, okay? Great. Then you also want to have your checklist. So for Rich earlier that I was talking about, like, what are all the things that you need to have like in your contract? Here's another thing that you should have. You should actually have a tech setup checklist. And so brand this any which way that you want. Let them know, like, okay, for the internet, make sure you have your internet upload speed is at least 5 megabits per second. During your tech rehearsal, you're probably going to say, let's go to speedtest.net. Let's check this out. Oh, okay, P.S. by the way, you could get an Ethernet cable, 20-foot cable. How much, right? Go for it. Kevin Lyons is saying tech rehearsal is essential. Yes, it is, friend. Yes, it is. And so usually when you're going through this, like internet upload speed, other things you're going to talk about is the wired connection. Check devices, right? Make sure that they're their phones, make sure it's away from the mic. Away. Make sure it's disconnected, iPads, all the things. No one's streaming in the other room, all that other stuff. Closing down apps. I can't tell you how many times I've actually had event like speakers and they have like Outlook open. I think it's always the Outlook people. But they'll get that little chime and I'm like, you just got an email. Everyone knows you just got an email. So make sure that they're closing down other apps because that will help them with the actual production of their show. So close down those apps. Audio visual, let's talk about like using earphones, microphones, and the webcam. Again, if you want to be fancy with it, make yourself top of mind and tip of tongue, actually go ahead and spend some budget. Send them a webcam, send them an external mic, send them some headphones, whatever it is that you can do. I've even had one of my students who's like, I don't have the budget to send them all that stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send them a branded lens cloth that they could just wipe the screen, wax on, wax off, and just make sure that they actually look good on camera, right? That's going to be an opportunity. Oh, we should have a sound effect for this. You've got mail. All right. So when you have your own checklist for this, again, I want you to look like a professional, like you know what it is that you're actually doing, what separates you from everyone else, right? So when you let them know what your services are, all the things that are included in it. Like, even if you're a Mary Fain brand and because you're doing something like LinkedIn Live and not everyone has access to LinkedIn Live, you might want to throw in a couple of stats on why LinkedIn Live is so freaking awesome. Why they might want to go ahead and live stream into a LinkedIn event, right? Because in LinkedIn events, you could have polls, chats, and all the things. And if you're doing any LinkedIn advertising, that's a gold mine right there. Telling you, lots to learn, lots to learn. What have you already put into your notebook? What have you put into your notebook already? I'm so curious. All right. So having your own branded checklist, I think that's going to be really, really important. Oh, hey, wait. Kevin is saying, tech check, do not watch and stream at the same time. Clients even try to hide that they are doing that. I love that Kevin mentioned that, right? Because when clients are like, can I be in the live stream and watch at the same time? I'm like, look, it's like being on stage, right? You can't be on stage and in the audience at the same time. You got to focus on what your message is going to be. The more that you try to distract yourself from what message you're trying to deliver, the crappier the experience is going to be. Oh, that was real talk. My bad. So you want to make sure that you're on stage and you're not in the audience. So focus on what it is that you want, right? Focus on what it is that you want. Shout out to Patrick, who is saying, this is a great presentation. Wow, gold. Doc is also saying, no money, send them an Amazon list with all the things in a good, better, best situation. Yes. Game changer right there. If you haven't already signed up to be an Amazon affiliate, that's another opportunity for you. I'm telling you, we teach you a lot of things here. Speaking of which, let me go ahead and show you all the amazing, wonderful things that you also get from the Ecamm Live community for free. So let's talk about all these different shows that we have. We have the Podcaster Hour, Mondays at 11 a.m. That's Ian Anderson Gray. You have Bradley Vinson, who talks all about graphics, keynotes, all those amazing things that you want to do. Oh, you also have Showrunner, what you're doing right now. And that is going to be 2:30 p.m. And then Go Live Now with Luria, which is also very, very fun. And the stream show, which is always on Sundays. That's a good one. I'm gonna close my blinds real quick because I'm getting blinded in the eye. All right, so those are all of the amazing shows that you have access to for the Ecamm network. And honestly, every single one of those show hosts, whenever you have a question, they're more than happy to help you. That's why I love the Ecamm Live community so much. You have like Doc that jumps in, Kevin with all of his experience that he knows about these remote live video productions. He'll throw his hat into the ring as well. You have questions about LinkedIn Live video production, Mary can hop in there too. This is an amazing opportunity, right? Cool. Question for Luria, Ecamm Network. Can you create those overlay graphics and choose the transition position in Ecamm? Podcaster. You mean like the graphics that just showed up and then they like appeared and disappeared? That was created in Keynote from Bradley Vinson, and he was able to time when they wanted to appear and when they disappeared. Okay? All right, cool. So other things to include on your checklist is going to be lighting. If you're in a room with a window, like this is basic stuff that you know because you're already awesome and amazing at live streaming. Just know that the clients that you're working with, they probably don't know, right? They probably don't know. And so when you're having this tech rehearsal, you could just be like, what would you do? What would happen if you moved the light over here? Or what would happen if you did this, right? Sometimes when people have a problem, I'm telling you, it's legit like this. Sometimes when people have a problem, they have a hard time trying to figure stuff out. So they're like this is my problem. I can't figure it out. And you're just like this. You're like, dude, you need to like back up a bit and get a better view of what the problem is. And then that's where you get to consult them. So when we're talking about lighting and all that amazing stuff, that's going to be your opportunity to show them what it is that you know. Show them the before and afters, okay? Never sit with your back to a window during an online video. If you're in a room without a window, some people might not have budget for like the Elgato key lights or the 3-point lighting, all that other stuff. Just get a freaking lamp. Get it from the living room. Change out the bulb. Do whatever it is that you have to do. You know, like get creative. I'm telling you things that I usually get whenever I'm running events for clients. So hopefully this will be helpful for you. Noise reduction. So we talked a little bit about this. Phones, alarms, interruptions, background noise. Muting, knowing how to mute themselves, right? Echo, if you can hear an echo, making sure that they don't watch themselves in the browser. All of that. Oh, Kevin is saying, suggest, don't correct. This may be their first time. That's good advice too. I would also say it depends on your client's motivation, because I have a client who is who what we call as like reverse polarity. If I tell her what she gains, like if I said like it would look better if you did this, it doesn't motivate her. But if I say like, listen, if you don't fix that eyelash right now, you're gonna look janky, and she's like, oh my god, okay, I'm gonna go do that right now. People have different motivation strategies. Feel out your clients on what's going to work best for them. I usually find that saying what would happen if is usually a nice, like softer approach in getting them to accept your ideas. But again, remember, you're the expert. Build rapport with your clients because you know that they're going to want to come back and work with you. Kevin's a pro. He knows this. So noise reduction, that's going to be very helpful as well. And let's see here. Let me make sure I have this. Okay, great. So I have taken so many notes today. Yes! And we have 4 minutes to spare. So having said that, let me show you this awesome, amazing, wonderful thing that our amazing friend Caleb has created for us. And so this is to prepare you for next week when we start getting into structure and storyboard. So Caleb, if you're there in the audience, if you could drop the link for me, get your free storyboard template. Let me tell you about this storyboard template. Okay. Pointing down there. Look, it's like a double point. Wait, can I do it? Da. Me pointing at that. So go ahead and drop your stuff in here because I'm going to show you the storyboard template that we're going to use next week. So that way you are organized with your clients, because I'm telling you, the more people that you actually have in a production, you'll have people like, wait, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? Organize it. Have fun with it, right? Thank you. See, I knew you were going to be in the audience. Go to bit.ly, SR Storyboard, SR Showrunner. That was clever. Good job. And get your template because, oh, did I actually already... Let me see if I pulled that up. 1 second. P.S. By the way, while I'm here, go ahead and drop your questions in the comments because that will be fun. I do have it. I'm going to give you a quick peek at how it looks like because Caleb did an amazing and awesome job. So here's Storyboard your show. So scene 1, your countdown timer, your visual countdown timer. Again, if you don't already have this, then shout out. Go talk to Luria. You can also talk to Bradley. I think Lem has like this one that has like flying lights. I thought that one was pretty sick. Scene 2, solo shot. What's going to be in there? Did you notice that that's actually me? That's me in my Ecamm hoodie. Oh. All right, so scene 2, help them out a bit. Brand it. Put the colors. If you already know your clients' branding guidelines, just go into like Easel. I use Easel for all of my graphic overlays, but I'll just go into Easel and I'll just change it. Use the color picker in the Chrome extension, pick out their colors on their website, brand it. They're like, oh, look, they already know our colors. Anything that you could do that really separates your, right? Makes you stand out from everyone else. That's going to be amazing. Then your next one is going to be, okay, then here's presentation mode. This one actually works really well whenever you're doing a shareholder presentation. I find that this one is amazing. Then you can have this other one where it's like maybe they're interviewing. I find that this one is very helpful when you are promoting an upcoming conference and the event organizer wants to feature the speaker or the keynote speaker. That's always fun to have. Then you can have the guest and all that amazing stuff. So if you haven't already, you want to go ahead and find this over here. And let me find that from Ecamm. We have it. Oh my god, you guys, we ended on time. That's amazing. I can't believe that. I am happy. We did it. We did it this time. All right, cool. While we are doing this, I'm going to take a look at the questions real quick for you. Nancy is saying, so you help individuals. I would love to talk to you. Yeah, hit me up. Slide into the DMs. You know where to find me. Chris, you're awesome. Yay. This is a good one from Kevin. See, you and I, we have so much in common. Yes, there is a parachute plan for when stuff happens. You could also include this in your storyboard. So this is already like a precursor for the next show that we're going to have. And we usually have like a slide that says, we just experienced a technical glitch. You could have fun with this. It could be like a hamster that's like running in. Someone feed the hamster. Do whatever it is that you have to do. Or what I've done for clients is we would have video testimonials that we could just play. Like, and we'll be right back. Boom. And then we go into however long we need to have that. Usually for remote live video production, you probably already have